Good morning, everyone. Being compliant with data privacy law is not that easy if you don't have any idea on how to start it. Did you experience data and security breach? Who will be responsible if your data is stolen or being hacked? So what are the penalties and fines in case of negligence? In this webinar, all your questions will be answered. You will know what are the steps that you need to do if there is a breach and where to report it. So stay with me till the end and you won't regret the decision you made today. So I am Mabel, a certified data protection officer and currently working in the Digital Defender Cybersecurity IT Solutions. So we have authority and experience from Philippines, Singapore, USA, Canada, and Europe. So our company is dealing with cybersecurity and data privacy since 1973. And we are here to help organizations who have difficulty in complying with data privacy laws. So if you have any questions during the webinar, please drop it in our comment sections and we and my team will answer you as soon as possible. So stay attentive in the webinar and not to miss any opportunities on how you will manage your breach. So before we start with our discussion for today, here are some few definitions of terms that we should always remember if we are talking about data privacy laws. So first, we have personal data or information. So personal data or information, this is the details like name, our addresses, mobile numbers, or whatever identity we have. So this is the reason why data privacy law is established all around the world. Because in the digital world, our details is the new currency. And if there is no privacy laws, it can be used against us. Or think of a situation like you are an idol or celebrity, that paparazzi will be all around you and check or record whatever you are doing. So this is like the similar situation. So next is we have consent. So from the word itself, we are allowing a certain company to collect and process our information. So always remember that if they are asking you your consent, it should always be clear and easy to understand. And asking consent should be in a way that you are not forced to give it to them. So it should be freely given by any data subjects. So next is we have processing. So once you collect the information, you will process it and put the information into use. And the processing flow we will discuss shortly. Next is we have personal information controllers. So these are the companies who collect your information. Mostly they are the heads or managers of the company that directs the use of your information once collected. And then we have personal information processor. It is a person or a device who processes your details. It could be a secretary of a company or it could be a cloud server that stores your details. But always remember that in processing the information, personal information controller should always be the decision maker. And lastly, we have the data subject. So data subject refers to all individuals who their personal information is collected and processed. So you guessed it right, it is you and me. So always remember that we have rights also under data privacy laws. Understanding the data processing flow will help you on how to manage your breach management. As you will know, where are the things that need security? So first is the collect or collection. So in collecting the personal information, there are three things that we should always remember. First is transparency, means you when you collect the information of your data subject, you have to inform them why you are collecting it, where you will use it, how long you will restore it, and how you will delete it. So we have to inform these step-by-step procedures to our clients. And next also is the legitimate purpose. So means if we collected the data from the data subjects and we want it to use only in marketing, so we will only use it in that marketing segment or marketing plan that we have. And last is proportionality. So means that only we can collect what we need. And we have to remove the mentality like we will use it in the future. So in digital world or in data privacy laws, this mentality is, they're not practicing it anymore. Because if there is a breach happened and you have the information that is not necessary, your fines will be accumulated, or it will cost huge fines. So the next processing flow that we have is use. Like I mentioned earlier, use only the data to its purpose. And if you plan to use it in another purpose, always we have to ask consent from the data subject. Next is we have storage. So if you are using a file boxes, make sure that it is well guarded and secured. Means you have to make sure that it has locks and it cannot be accessed by everybody. So if you are using cloud servers, we have to make sure that it has all the features that you need. And then we have transfer. So in transferring data, especially in third parties, we have to make sure that we have a privacy agreement. So if ever there is a breach and it is not on your part, you always have someone to blame legally. And lastly, we have retention or deletion. So we have to retain information only with the allotted time period. Like I said earlier, example, if you collected the information of the data subject and you inform them that you will use it only in 6 months time. So when that 6 months time is already up, you have to inform the data subjects that you will either retain or you will either delete the informations that you have. And always make sure that if you will use it in another marketing plan, you have to ask a consent. And if they didn't agree, you have to delete it immediately or in a safe way that it is nobody can recover it easily. So before we proceed to the main topic, let me ask you, when you hear the word breach, what comes to your mind? So I will give you 10 seconds to share whatever you think about breach in our chat box. Okay, thank you for those who answered and what they think about the breaches. When I am new in or like I don't know data privacy law before, when it comes to breach, what comes to my mind always is like viruses that caused our laptop or our devices to stop functioning. But in digital world, breach means loss of money, loss of credibility, loss of trust, and so on. So it is very important that we know how we will handle the situation if a breach occurred in your company. Sometimes you will think that you don't need to know what are the breach management or what breach management all about, or you don't need it because you didn't get hacked or before until now. So in 21st centuries, hackers are getting smarter and smarter with the use of so many technologies. So in no time, if you are handling or if you're dealing personal informations like credit cards, bank accounts, and even medical records, hackers can easily steal any informations that you have, especially if you don't have proper antivirus and VPNs. And in the dark market, medical records has the highest price. Let me ask you another question. So do you know what are the most common causes of breach? I bet you will say phishing, smishing, ransomware, where you will receive SMS and email with links. So you will click that link and boom, your data has been stolen or hacked. So these things that we usually see in the news. But how about earthquakes? How about flood, natural disasters? Does this also can cause a breach? Yes, of course. Any occurrences that may result to data loss is considered breach. And to answer the previous question, what is the common breach that can happen to a company? The answer is human error. How is that possible? So who's making the policies? But wait, do you even have policies in making sure that the collection, use, storage, transfer, and deletion of any personal information is safe and secured? And if you are not taking the necessary precautions, it will always be a negligent on your part, and it will always land on human error. So there is an incident that happened in M. Louvillier that they had a breach about 53 million records. So their system is penetrated not only for one day. So if you will ask how did they know that they are being breached, it happened only when one of the customer complained that why his or her data is in the dark web. So when they received the complaint, that's the time only they realized that their system is being breached. So always remember there are two kinds of breach that may happen to a company. So one is a security breach where the hackers had penetrated your firewalls or protection but failed to access or steal any personal information that you are keeping. So another one is the data breach. So where the data is stolen, lost, and cannot be retrieved anymore. So it is always important to have a set of backups if you want, so that if these things happen, you can always continue your operation while dealing with the data breaches. So if you will say it's expensive to train your staff, think about this. What will you choose, having fines of millions or training your staff? If I am the boss, training my staff is way cheaper than facing imprisonment and fines for not properly addressing how to handle situations if there is a breach. So training your employees, they should always follow the data privacy law. But how can you be sure that they know the law itself? And if there is a negligence, they are answerable and they are accountables in their actions. So you have to make sure that when they read your privacy manual, let them sign it and understand. So that if ever there is a breach, one of them or one of your employees will be accountable for not properly addressing the right way or the right policies and procedures in making the data safe. But wait a minute, what is privacy manual? So it is a manual where all the procedures and policies and even forms are written to be a guide to all your employees on how to collect, use, transfer, and delete all the personal informations that you are handling. So if you are complying with data breach management, one of the main requirements is having an SIRT. But what is SIRT? So SIRT stands for Security Incident Response Team. So what do? They are the first respondent if there are any breach that happened to a company. So don't make a mistake that when a breach happened, you don't know who needs to act first if in stopping the breach, and of course the delay can cause more damages. So this team will assess the situation, block the breach as soon as possible to avoid further damage, and of course they need to report it to the data protection officer of the company and also the higher management personnel. So if you are thinking who is the best candidate as an SIRT, technically it is the IT persons who are in charge of breach management. So in appointing them, we have to make sure that they know what they are doing and not stand or run away if a breach happened in your company. So violation in privacy law are happening all around the world. So do you think hackers attack only big companies like Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp? Well, most of the time, they are the one who get huge fines once there is a breach. So we can check the internet and see a lot of cases that a company paid a huge amount because of breach or violation of privacy law. So it will happen to any companies, big tech companies that who are handling personal information or personally identifiable information. So in 2021, according to Statistica, 68.5% of organizations were victimized by only ransomware. So how about phishing, smishing, DOS? So in our slide, here is the example that new virus, this is a kind of ransomware that forces people to donate to the poor if they want their data to be recovered. So in the example article, if we will read it, maybe you will say that it is for a good cause. Imagine hackers are hacking your system so that you are forced for a donation. But still, it will not have the essence of the donation because you are forced to do it. So they are forcing people to donate and post it in their social media. Maybe if you are in a higher class or in a higher status of the society, then it is okay to donate and bring your information back. But if you yourself is also struggling in everyday expenses, then it can cause a huge problem, or it can cause a problem. And we are not sure also that after donating, you will receive back your system or your information. And of course, how can you make sure that you will not be hacked again and do the same thing? So since hackers are getting smarter on how to get your information, what you will do? If you will ask me, I will improve and update the guidelines in breach management if ever I have it. So all the breaches that happen to the company needs to be reported. So if there is a breach or a data breach, you have to report it directly to the Privacy Commission or officer in your country. So we also need to notify the data subjects. So who are the data subjects again? So it is me and you. So whatever personal information that a company holds about us. So as a data subject, and if you receive a suspicious messages or emails, better confirm it first to the company and check if it is true or not. So don't just click out of your curiosity, so that you can avoid being hacked, or worse, be one of the cases of identity theft. So since having breach management is one of the things you need to do to keep a personal information secured, so we do offer different services that will fit your requirements. First option that we have is we can do the breach management, or means we can do penetration testing. We can check your policies if there is a holes, or the probability of being hacked. So in this option, we can help you establish your breach management plan. And next, we have option number 2, where we can train and certify one of your staff in breach management. And lastly, we can certify and train a data protection officer of your company. So in this option, we will teach him, or he or she will go in the different courses, not only in breach management, but also in privacy, in making the privacy manual, in making the privacy impact assessment, and making sure that implementation of data security and privacy are all in place in your company. So that is the end of my slide, or the end of my webinar. If you have any more questions, you can always email me in the given email addresses in your screen, or call us directly. So I hope you learn what is the importance of breach management in our company. So always remember, you are your data, protect it. Again, I am Abel from the Digital Defenders, and thank you for watching.